Hey, good morning, friends. April here with Medwell Health and Wellness. It's so good to see you this Thursday. Emily and I are really enjoying our Thursday meetups with you. Today, we're streaming in Facebook, we're streaming live in YouTube, and we're also on our medwellhealth.net website. So, thank you all for joining us. Just some housekeeping before we get started. Please do leave a comment. Tell us hello, where you're from. Also, if you have a question along the way, feel free to ask a question. We're absolutely happy to answer it. And if you are catching the replay, definitely leave a comment afterwards because we will get back to you. So we appreciate that. So today, our series is Medwell Unscripted, but particular this quarter, we're talking about cannabis, wellness, and you. And today, we're talking about stress and cannabis and how they work together. So I know all of you, I'm sure if I said, hey, raise your hand, how many of you have stress in your life? We all would have, no matter what we do, we really try to, I'm sure many of us try self-care and try all these different things, but, it's really, the medical cannabis can be a powerful tool to help that. So without further ado, let's get started with introductions. We have Emily Waxman, our Community of Outreach here at Medwell. Director of Community Outreach, sorry about that. And then we have Lilly Motto, who is the General Manager at Happy Valley Dispensary. Good morning, guys.
Good morning.
Good morning, everybody.
Well, welcome. So I want to start, Emily, just give a little brief bio of what you're doing out in the community, and then we'll have Gilly take it away for us.
That sounds perfect, April. Thank you. So my name is Emily Waxman, and I am the Community Outreach Director over here at Medwell Health and Wellness. And I just love being able to get out into all of the different places I can get to explain why someone would want to get their medical cannabis certification, why it's a benefit to you, what medical cannabis can do for you. And I get to be able to go out to dispensaries and other sorts of places where there is just a large population of people that could really benefit from our services and be able to answer those questions, provide that knowledge, and meet amazing people like Gilly and his entire team over at Happy Valley, who are just outstanding individuals with amazing products. So I am so excited to be able to talk about that today.
Awesome. All right, Gilly, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, all right. So my name is Lilly Motto. I entered the industry in 2014 in the West Coast, in the Pacific Northwest, up in Seattle area. I helped open the first recreational cannabis store in Bellevue, Washington, and proceeded to, jump right into the industry in its infancy in recreational. So I helped open up 3 other locations around the area in Bellevue, Washington, and I had some ties to the East Coast as well. So I got an opportunity to come open up stores in Massachusetts, which is a new legal market that just legalized. And so I joined with Happy Valley in early 2019. And, it took a while with licensing in the area of Massachusetts. It's a little bit difficult, as you guys can imagine, to get stores open and operated. So it took a while, but we opened our first location in Gloucester, which is a vertically integrated grow facility, lab, production, and kitchen that has a retail store attached to it too as well. So we opened that location in 2020, and we proceeded to open up our Happy Valley East Boston location in 2021. And all of our stores are co-located medical and recreational, and we're a single source company. We're vertically integrated, which means we sell only our own products within our own locations and our own stores. So, which is a wonderful thing to be able to really educate customers on our product line thoroughly.
Interesting. So let's, that's amazing that, and I love, we have a kind of a green room here, friends, and we were talking a little bit about Gilly's experience out in Seattle and how things have changed. And now he's seeing the trend come towards Massachusetts, which is really great. So, all right. Yeah. Let's see, hold on one second. We have, okay. All right. So, as we get started here, I always love to kind of, when we're talking about particular topics, is kind of just do a little research. And I mean, clearly we started with everybody raising their hands of, hey, yeah, I have some stress, but Um, I have some statistics to share here, and and I think it goes without being said of how stress can affect our physical and well-being. So 33% of people report feeling extreme stress in their life, which that's pretty significant number, right? So like, it's not just regular stress, extreme stress. And then when you talk about affecting our physical health, 77% of people stress actually affects how they physically feel. And then it goes even to 73% it affects our mental health. So it's really, stress can really do a damage to our body for sure.
Right.
And part of that, the other part of that is it affects our sleep. So there's lots of things. Stress affects so many things, and it's one of those things that I think more as you get older. And so, Gilly, you're a lot younger than I am. So I say this as I get older, I start to recognize it more. But I think education is compelling to educate the masses of, and like even my children, if they're overwhelmed, that we talk about like good habits of what they can do so that stress doesn't eat away at them. Because like, you hold that inside and you're not treating it, it can really affect a lot of things. So let's talk about kind of cannabis and how that works. So when you talk about strains, right? So let's talk a little bit about the different types of strains and kind of how they could help alleviate some of that stress. And I'm gonna let you help me with that answer, Gilly.
Yeah, well, with cannabis and stress-related symptoms, you got to understand the first part about cannabis is there's not a one-size-shoe-fits-all with stress.
Right.
So, the customer base in any market, really wants to have a solid answer when they come into the dispensaries about what's going to directly help with their stress. And that is a little bit difficult for the bud tender to be able to educate properly because cannabis is very subjective. At the end of the day, everybody's experience is different from the next. And Emily and I could sit here and smoke the same strain and have two different experiences with it. So that being said, it's very difficult to go in granular with different types of strains because that's where it all is up to the individual's body composition, how they're going to react to cannabis. So the first part about that would be just educating on how to use the product and when to use the product and what specifically we're using the product for. And there's all different types of strains of cannabis in the world, and they all vary in cannabinoids and terpenes. And those two functions, cannabinoids and terpenes, are really going to be the driver of the high that you're going to receive from the product, whether it's going to be stress relieving, whether it's going to be sleep aid, or whether it's going to be something that's going to give you energy. Learning a little bit more about the science behind the cannabinoids and terpenes in each individual cultivar will really exceed the knowledge of yourself trying products and learning about how you react with different cannabis strains. And what we teach our staff is to use it with their own experiences. So, when we teach customers, we always have to say, in my experience, our super lemon haze gives me a little bit of a drowsy effect and it helps me calm down at the end of the day. My coworker here has a different experience. She uses super lemon haze in the middle of the day on a weekend to go on a hike or go out for fun. So it's all understanding that there is no one size shoe fits all for a stress relieving cannabis cultivar.
Well, and I think one of the things that, I think it's important to recognize is, you think about before medical cannabis became legal, right? So I think it would be helpful to talk a little bit about, all of the things, especially because you cultivate all your own products, and kind of talk about it's all natural, right? So like, and I think, and I'm in my mind, I'm thinking you hear all these terrible things right now on the news, which the news is terrible anyways. But like when you're talking about people buying marijuana off the streets and it's laced with fentanyl and all of these things. So I think sometimes people are fearful and don't really understand all of that medical cannabis is all about whole natural. It's all natural. So could you talk a little bit about that and kind of maybe the process? I know you're not the, I know you have experience in this, but you're not the bud tender, so to speak, anymore. So.
No, but it's all relative to the experience that I've had in my career. So the bigger thing that really was exciting to partner with Happy Valley was the fact that all of our genetics are mapped. So they're all rooted back to the original cultivar. So when Happy Valley says our GG4, it's actually GG4. And our Super Lemon Haze is actually Super lemon haze. It's genetically mapped through a company called Medicinal Genomics, located in Massachusetts, that helps map our cultivars to their original lineage, which is very important when you're being in the service industry, to educate somebody that our GG4 is actually GG4, because that name for them is going to, that's what they're going to latch to, is GG4 now. So they're going to go try Garden Remedies GG4 or Netta's GG4, another company's GG4, and they're going to have this connotation of the experience they're going to have. And we want to make sure that they understand that our GG4 is genetically mapped to the landrace strain. So when we speak about it, it's true to that genetic, because that's the variance of different growers and different seeds and different cultivars, that another GG4's experience might be different than ours. So that's very important for us to understand when we create our Happy Valley products, that they are genetically mapped. We want people to understand that this is the feeling you're going to get every single time consistently from our GG4. And that's the biggest thing with cannabis, is remaining consistent. As somebody is doing the trial and error period of finding out what works for them, consistency in the product is key.
Well, and our friend Linda here has actually, I think it's a pretty relevant question to what you're just mentioning here. I have scleroderma terrible, I'm sorry, and Sjogren's. Edibles have been a godsend for sleep, but how do you find out your perfect strength, your own perfect strength? So I think you started to talk a little bit about that, but if you don't mind answering that, that would be great.
I love the questions. Edibles are just wonderful to answer, because working in the legal market, everything is dosed, homogenized, correct. That's the biggest gap right now between black market, gray market, and what happens in the legal market is dosing with edibles. Everybody's had the experience where they ate a gummy bear that's too strong. They didn't know how much was in it. And it took them a big jump to jump back into cannabis, because they had a terrible experience with edible. Right. So with recreational edibles, the standard dose in Massachusetts is 5 milligrams, which is, I think, is a very fine dose for an individual. So learning your dosing in recreational cannabis is actually very easy, because everything is correctly dosed and homogenized. If you take a 5 milligram chocolate and you cut it right in half, it's going to be 2.5 on one side and 2.5 on the other side. So learning your dose in recreational edibles is, again, unfortunately, it's trial and error, but you start with 5 milligrams, start low, go slow. The next day, 5 milligrams didn't affect you, 10 milligrams. The next day, and until you find that perfect number that works for you. But in the legal markets, it's much more easier to achieve that goal with the dosing that's correctly done in legal markets.
Got it. Awesome. So hopefully that helps you, Linda, and that answers your question.
I hope she's in a legal market that can learn a little bit more from an actual store that has, legal cannabis edibles.
She's in Massachusetts. She's actually located in Massachusetts. Yeah. So she's in the perfect place to get all of what she needs. So thank you. I appreciate you saying that. All right. So let's talk a little bit about the difference between indica and sativa. Kind of what are the difference, and kind of what are the different effects that might have on your stress?
Right. So this is a big topic of conversation in cannabis for a while. And I've been a big advocate to help slowly remove those words from our cannabis lexicon. Too often customers or patients like to rely on those words for the connotation of the high they're going to receive. And we have to really break that down to, what is that high? Where does it come from? What makes a plant a sativa? What makes it an indica? Because that's going to be the root of what disseminates the high you're going to receive. The blanket terms of indica, sativa are a little bit misguided when customers and patients are looking for a connotation of a high they're going to receive. Again, what I just stated in the beginning, a super lemon haze experience for me, for Emily, could be two different highs with the same exact plant. So those words can be a little dangerous in the legal markets as we're selling products. Telling somebody this is going to be a full-on indica that's going to put you to sleep, and that customer might have a different reaction, and that patient might have a different reaction to keep them up all night. So as we move forward in the industry, companies like Weed Maps, Leafly, big educational platforms, and Medwell as yourselves, helping to push education and science forward with cannabinoids and terpenes to help really understand what's driving the high behind the plant. indica sativa, indica plants back in the day, short, bushy sativa plants were tall and narrow, but everything's been hybridized, for the last 50 years in North America. So to find a true indica or a true sativa is actually pretty rare. And also to connotate those highs with that product, could be a little bit dangerous too as well. So, as we move forward in the industry, we really want to focus on the science behind cannabinoids and terpenes and the endocannabinoid system that lives within each individual's body and how those two react together. It's a big journey that I hope we all can take together as we move forward in the industry and really kind of break down the barriers of education in cannabis.
Awesome. So, education, we love that word here at Medwell. So,
Right.
So we're totally on the same wavelength here. So let's talk about kind of the patient experience. So clearly, you have a lot of knowledge, a lot of experience, but I know that when people come into Happy Valley, they might not meet you directly. They might run into you eventually, but talk a little bit about the patient experience and what people can expect when they come into Happy Valley.
Well, for our patients, we want to give the red carpet service. We want to make sure that they, as we're co-located, we serve recreational and we serve medical. So we do want to highlight our medical patients that have red carpet service, their own point of sales, and their service is going to be top notch every single time they come in the building.
And no
with our medical, no sales tax. That's the big part of working with you guys. And Medwell and Happy Valley partnering together has been able to educate customers the financial benefits, the medical benefits, the therapeutic benefits, and the protection that you have becoming a patient in Massachusetts. So working with Medwell, working with Nicole from MPAA as well, and really educating our recreational customers on the benefits of the medical side has turned a lot of our rec customers into patients because they say, oh, okay, it doesn't affect, my housing. It doesn't affect my license to carry. It doesn't affect, these other things that, have this reticence to jump into the medical market, and they save the tax, there's therapeutic benefits, premium access, a rewards program that's fantastic for our medical customers. And, it just creates an ultimate better buying experience for medical. And we preach that every single day to our rec customers, and we turn them over to patients with Emily helping out a lot. So we really, really value the medical side of what we do here at Happy Valley.
Awesome. And do you have any products that you offer that specifically for medical patients, where instead that might not be available on the rec side of things?
Yeah, so we have a edible program that's medically focused. So we have high dosed edibles that are 20 milligrams in individual increments. So they go up to 400 milligrams total, and they're at a great price, and patients can receive their first time discounts on it, their points on it. So right now that's where we're headed. And then we also have a wellness line that's actually for everybody. So we have remedy tincture that's a 250 milligram THC to a 250 milligram CBD tincture. We have a relief salve that's the same dosing of 250 milligram CBD to 250 milligram THC. So those are our wellness products. We're going to come out with some more ratioed edibles down the line as well. But then we have some high dosed edibles that are only for medical patients in the state of Massachusetts.
Awesome. Emily, you might want to answer this question. Our friend Linda's, do I need a different card here in Florida where we are until May?
Yes, Linda. So you would need to get your own card in Florida. Massachusetts you wouldn't be able to use your Massachusetts card in Florida. So there's a little bit of a different process there in Florida. I'm not sure exactly where you are in Florida. We have 3 locations for offices. We have our Bradenton office, St. Pete, and Sarasota. So if you are near any of those areas, we'd be more than happy to assist. But if you want to give us a call, and if you're not in those areas, we would certainly, still try to help you otherwise and direct you. But we can explain the process, how it works, and see if you can get your card out there, because as I'm sure you realize, in Florida, it's strictly just medical there.
All right, awesome. And so, Gilly, what kind of medical discounts do you offer? I know a lot of times there's programs. So can you talk a little bit about if you have a first-time medical patient discount, and then from a research perspective?
Yeah, we have a couple different, discounts for our medical patients. We offer a 20% first-time discount for your entire purchase. We offer another 20% discount for signing up for our rewards program. And then we offer a points program. So every dollar you spend in Happy Valley receives a point for that dollar. And there's a 3-tier system we have at 250 points, gets you 10% off your entire order, or you can get a $5 pre-roll. Or the 500 point or 600 point limit, is 20% off your entire order, or a $10 100 milligram edible. And then we have a third tier, which is going to be 1,500 points that will receive you 30% off your entire order, or a $15 classic eighth. And then we also offer a renewal voucher. If you renew your medical card, we offer you a $100 voucher at Happy Valley, which is one of the biggest discounts that I've seen in the state for renewals. So it's $100 off your entire order with a renewal voucher here at Happy Valley. And then we also offer a one-time birthday discount for 20% off. And, our medical patient reward program, we want to make it simple and easy, but also fun. If you play the points game at Happy Valley, you are able to receive discounts on solventless concentrates and relief salve and all of our products. So we really want to make it not like a Munchie Monday or a Wax Wednesday. We want to make sure the customer has ability to use the discounts for any product that they so want. If they can't get here for a CBD Sunday, we want to make sure that they can receive their discounts on our CBD products any other day of the week.
Awesome.
I have to say, I had so much fun doing when I was at my last visit to Happy Valley, and I got to take advantage of that renewal discount and get that $100 working towards me. And my whole purchase cost me $35. And I can't even tell you how many things I purchased that day. It was phenomenal. And just the products are just outstanding, just amazing. The chocolate bar is just the best chocolate I think you've ever had in your entire life. So for anyone that enjoys, the edibles and especially chocolate, you have to give it a try. It is just out of this world.
And I'm extremely proud about our Solventless program that just got relaunched here at Happy Valley. Solventless is a form of concentrate that's not using solvents. So it's not CO2, it's not BHO. So Solventless, we refer as the cleanest type of concentrate in the market. And now we offer that in an array of different products, whether it be a vape product like a Pax Pod, or you can dab it like a concentrate solventless with rosin, or we have hash. So that's one of our proudest programs that we have is our solventless program, as it's very medicinal focused, as it's not using proprietary solvents like BHO or CO2 or anything like that to make the product. It's all natural, just heat, pressure, water, and ice makes our entire concentrate line, which is wonderful to use and wonderful to educate, patients about as well.
Awesome.
Lilly, let me just ask you quickly before we start to wrap up. So we have so many patients that come to us and they're just their first time users. This is like a brand new thing to them. They've been hearing all the buzz about it, and they just, want to have this as a tool for their toolbox because they are just tired of having to go the typical way of pills and other things that they've been doing their whole life. So can you tell me, for someone that enters Happy Valley for the first time, what you or your amazing staff would suggest for them as just a beginner that would kind of just get their feet wet and kind of get them so that they don't have that bad experience that, sets them off on the wrong path?
Again, it's learning about that customer and that patient. It's really
Right.
diving in that conversation about what's their past experience, what have they tried in the past, how have they tried it, what hasn't worked, and what has worked, and then taking that information and dissecting it to be able to find something that's going to get them started. With the edible conversation, going back to that, a lot of our customers and patients come in with a bad edible experience.
Right.
Overdosed an edible and they didn't know how much was in it. So that conversation is to start low, go slow, 5 milligrams a night. Okay, if that doesn't work, the next night try 10. Not 5 milligrams on top of that, not the same day, but we want to break it down for the patient in a way that they're going to grasp with their own understanding of their past experiences. So it's very subjective to how the patient comes in and what information that they've
and what they're kind of open to as well.
Yeah, but that's why the great part about having a legal store and the buying experience that Valley, East Boston, really opens up the showroom. You're not walking into a stanchion line where you're funneled to the entrance. No, you have a browsable showroom. Our bud tenders are roaming. They're going to go on the floor. They're going to make it comfortable. We have a consultation area to make it a little bit quieter if you'd like to speak in private. But the buying experience really opens up ability to have those conversations one-on-one, not at the register, not in front of somebody behind you. Right. So opening the buying experience at Happy Valley really elevates those conversations.
It's so true. Having visited that location as well as the Gloucester location, that's exactly it. It's when you do enter the building, you don't feel as if you're being pushed to the front or there's a rush or that there's any sort of pressure on you, because as we continue to talk about the topic of stress, certainly that's the last thing that you want to feel when you enter a dispensary. And these locations are beautifully lit. There's plenty of light. There are plenty of areas for you to be able to go and talk quietly with someone to get your questions answered. And there's plenty of staff available, which I think is key, because you certainly don't want to have to be trying to flag someone down or be stressed that you're, not being seen. And everyone is just so incredibly knowledgeable over at Happy Valley. So certainly for those folks that have listened to us today, if you haven't had a chance to go over there, please go check it out. You will not be disappointed. And I think you will feel as if you're really getting some wonderful education after you leave there, besides some amazing products.
Awesome. So, my friends, medical cannabis can help relieve stress in so many ways. And Gilly brought to light some great information today. So thank you so much, Gilly, for your time today. Thank you so much, Gilly. Friends, please do stop by happyvalley.org to learn more about Happy Valley and all of their products and their services that they offer, and also their locations. And if you do have questions about medical cannabis or about obtaining your medical cannabis card, please do stop by medwellhealth.net. We're here to help. And we look forward to next week. We have a week off, friends, but we will be back the first week in March, and we'll look forward to seeing you then. Again, Gilly, thank you again. And if you are catching the replay, friends, please do leave a comment. We're happy to get back to you and answer any of your questions that you have. Everyone, make it a fantastic day. Thanks so much, guys.
Thank you, everybody.
Bye, everyone.